Hi everyone and welcome back to Chess for Charity. In this video we are going to see if we can win with the white pieces. So right now there are 5 white pawns and a white king against 4 black pawns, if I can get these colors right, 2 black knights and a black rook, and of course a black king. So we're down quite a bit of material, right? 10 points of material to be exact. And we have to figure out if we can win. So take a second, see if you can find how to win this game. There are a lot of ways to draw it. I'll maybe give you a hint right there. There are a lot of ways to draw this game, but there's only one way to win it. So see if you can figure that out. And before I show the solution, I would just like to quickly encourage you to subscribe. Just remember that half of my income goes directly to charity, so a free subscription to you really helps me out a lot, and it's very appreciated. Okay, so let's look at these pawns. Let's say, make sure it's clear, they're going up the board, which means, of course, black's pawns are going down the board. They are immobile at the moment, but maybe later they'll be able to move. So let's take a look at black's knight. Black's knight on f8 cannot move at the moment. Maybe one day it will be able to if this king moves, but right now it can't move. So we'll put that in red. This knight on h1, it can move, we'll put it in green, to either of these 2 squares, right? Of course, it will be captured if it does, but it can move. King can move. It can't move to this square because it's covered, but it can move to the corner. And the same goes for the rook. It can't go there or there. That's not how rooks work on the diagonal, but it can go to the corner. Okay, now why am I saying all that? Well, I want to make sure I say that up front because there's a point behind this. If you, as white, promote to a queen, because it's the most natural way to make a move, you see a pawn here, you promote. If you do that, what's going to happen? Well, these pieces are going to shuffle in such a way where they kind of untangle. So what do I mean by that? Well, rook h8 is the first move that's going to get this rook out. Now, how is that going to happen? Well, the king is just going to move, and then I'm going to have access to the h-file, right? So maybe you say, I'll just attack this knight. Well, after king g8, that's not a good idea because this is being held together. This can't be captured by the queen, and the queen really isn't doing anything because everything is held together. So turns out in this position, it's going to be a draw because you really can't do anything. Maybe you want to try to get the queen in. What is the queen going to attack? The knight is defended by the king is defended by the rook, of course, the king is sheltered, and the rook is covering this knight, and it seems like you can always just move your pieces back and forth, and there's no danger here, right? Rook h4, and now what? Maybe you just want to sit here and wait? That's fine. I can move my pieces and try to make progress, or I can just go right back to where I was and say, what are you going to attack? This is going to be a draw. You can't trade your queen for all 3 of these pieces at one time. If you get a little too crazy and try to trade here, you'll lose. Because, like I said, rook h4, going right back and forth. If I try to take this, that's a terrible idea. Because now, look, this knight can go out this way and start attacking and winning everything. Okay, so promoting to a queen is not a good idea. Now you might go, okay, I kind of already see where you're going then. What about a rook? What about a bishop? What about a knight? What's the difference? Is there a difference? What about just attacking this knight right away? So let's talk about that. If you attack the knight right away, we can just mention that first. You don't do anything with the knight. Instead, you play rook h8. The goal is to free this rook. So if I take this, this is going to be a check, and after king g2, it might be a little weird that I'm letting you promote, but it's a fortress. Rook h4, I'm attacking this. I really just want to move my pieces back and forth here. I'm not really threatening to take anything here. So you promote to a queen, you promote to something, it doesn't matter. I can take this, but I think another way to go about doing it, yeah, look at this. King plays here, look at this. This is crazy. I can take this stuff and I have a little fortress here because it's being held together with my knight. Okay, now what's interesting about this is the fact that in this initial position, a lot of the problems hinge upon the fact that my rook gets to h8, the king gets to g8, and then all of a sudden this rook is free, right? So is there a way to prevent that? That's the key question, that if you can answer that question correctly, you can pretty much unlock the crux of the puzzle. Okay, I'm going to share the answer with you, but if you want to take one more second, feel free. Okay, so yes, there is a key to this. So what did I just say, right? I said the rook goes here and the king goes to g7. Is there a way you can control g7 within 2 moves? And that's the key. Yes, you can. How? You promote to a knight. And you go, okay, like, what is that going to do? And this is where it gets so cool. Rook h8. Now, if it was my move, which it is, I only have one decent move here. The only move is to make this follow through here, which is the whole reason I promoted, go to e7, and now I'm blocking off g8. So I've pretty much just suffocated black's forces. What do they have? They can't move their knight because the knight is completely blocked off. They can't move their king because this square is taken, that square is taken. They can move their rook, and they can move their knight. Interesting, right? Okay. So I play knight e7. What do they do? Well, they're going to have to give something up. If they go here, do I take them? What do you think? If you had to take a guess, do I take them? No, of course I don't do that. Why would I do that? If I take them, I'm just letting them out, right? They're going to be able to move things around, take here, move this knight in, and this is just going to be a loss for white. It's not even close. So what's the point? The point is not to take. And this is the really interesting thing about chess, and I think this applies to life as well. Sometimes it's better to just wait when it comes to certain things. Don't cash out the second you see a gain. You might go, oh, a knight for a rook. That's an advantage. No, not in this case. So what do? If they do this, you just attack the knight. You just say, I'm just going to take your knight for free. And you're going to take it no matter what, really. So what do? They really can just move their rook back and forth. They can just oscillate here. Okay, now you might wonder, after you capture this knight, what is there to do? Is white going to win this? How could white win this? Well, black just oscillates. That's the only legal move in this position, by the way. They oscillate. And you go, okay, sure. I don't get where that's going, but sure. So now, black has 2 options. They can move the king to h8 or the rook to h8. Either way, it's going to be about the same. So let's just show the king. So I just come in with the king. Now, where am I going exactly? Right? You might wonder, I'm just going to start. I can get a draw if I want it, right? I can just run around in a little box. I don't want to draw. I want to win. Well, just kind of a funny side note here. If the knight ever goes here, because they free up that square, that's mate. So don't fall for that. It would be a bad way to lose. Maybe that'll be the quick way to end it, because you might see it coming. So you pretty much have to oscillate either your rook or your king. Okay, so I keep going up. Let's just move the rook. Just doesn't matter. And again, you don't want to capture this because it's not going to work, because that lets things out. But you might say, wait a second. If I were to walk into this, I can be walking into a discovered check if this knight ever moves, like this. And that would be a good observation. So let's think about that. So let's just keep going. King b6. And you might say, okay, I'm kind of not seeing where this is going. I play here, king c7. Now I play here, show me what you got. Here's where it gets it's already fun. Here's where it gets even more amazing. I play king d8. I let you check me with a discovered check. I let this happen. Now why? Because the king that took the knight in the corner, or depending on whether the knight moved or not, made a long journey all around. Not there. Right there. Now, if you check me, now I can cash in. Now, why? because take here, and I am winning this. Because even though you have a knight, you can take this. It's just simply not fast enough for this knight. I play king e7. I'm pushing this guy home. And this guy is going to go to d8 and become a queen, and you're going to lose pretty quickly. And there's nothing to do here. You want to defend? That's not really a defense because I don't have to do it right now. I can take here. I can push this. It's going to be a game of tempo. So it's not really going to work out. I think the best move is d7, and then what do? You want to waste a tempo? I think I can promote, and then you take. Let me calculate here. I promote, you take, I take, king here, it's going to be zugzwang. There. This is all the beauty of the calculation. Let's see if that's all right. Here, take, you play here, there, and now I play here, and you're in zugzwang. I get this pawn now. So, there you go. Live calculation. Interesting, I'm looking at the engine right now. It says mate in 49 moves. Now it says mate in 22. That was quick. Okay, pretty cool. So, all of this boiled down to finding the right weapon in the very beginning. Instead of promoting to a queen, you promote to a knight. That allows you the freedom to get this one square right there. Cover that one square, and that makes everything worth it. Hopefully you enjoyed that. It's kind of a cool puzzle. It's surprising to me how the engine struggles with this puzzle so much, because when I plugged it into the engine to play against the computer, computer goes wild. It's like black is winning, white's winning, draw, black's winning, white's winning, draw. It kept oscillating between those three things. But yeah, that is it for the video. If you enjoyed it, I would encourage you to subscribe. Thank you so much for everybody who's helped reach out through Discord and through just comments. It's been a wonderful time interacting with the community. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much. Bye.